Today I am going to talk about some basic guidelines which help us as software developer are writing Java code that can be uh, as a secure code. That means generally nowadays uh, secure writing any code that must be secure. For that we have to follow some basic principle. After that we can say our application are meet some level of security. So surely in this talk I'm not going to complete detail out each and every point that can as a guidelines for the Java secure guiding coding guidelines. So but objective would be we have at least start doing basic things, and once you doing these basic things, you can say almost you are the right track, where you can say whatever developing application that meet the security criteria. So couple of points I'm going to discuss. Let's first point. Whenever I'm writing the code, many times as we Java developer, due to our easiness, due to our time, due to your easily implementation, we are copy the same code in many places, just given a different name, different file. You can say there is a what the problem. If you look, we can easily meet the customer requirement. Same code we can use the multiple places, multiple file, maybe some minor changes, and all are the same. From the development perspective, it's good. You can say we can quickly deliver. But the problem here in the maintainability. The basic rules to writing Java code or any programming language is writing code is a one-time activity, and reading code is the many times activities. Means once you develop software, deliver to the customer. Customers are using, and your software go in the maintenance phase, and any bug, any defect, any enhancement come, the engineer have to again read the same code, maybe need a modification. The challenges here is that if the same code you read in a 2 file, you have 10 file, okay, for different use case 1, use case 2, use case 3, use case 4. Good example, customer have reported a bug for use case 3. The software receive the defect, and hey, find out, oh, use case 3 is not working. They are going to fix something in the use case 3 code base, and they are not aware that this code may be duplicated in the 4 places, 3 places for use case 1, use case 2, use case 3. Might be they miss, and the cause they are fixing one issue, and they are introducing impacting other module as well as. Now this is the problem about the code duplication, and for this the very nice name given as a dry principle. Don't repeat yourself. So this is the starting point, you can say, as a software developer. Our responsibility, please avoid duplicate code. Whenever you looking the same code is written at 2 place or 3 place, good practice, make one common class, make one util class, and the same code is used by the use case 1, same code is used by use case 2, and same code is used by use case 3. This is the basic principle, and good problem is that as Java compiler are not enforcing why you are writing the duplicate codes, because compiler is just checking your syntax and semantics. They are not checking the same code you are copying 10 times or 20 times. So, as a software developer, our responsibility, we have to ensure that we are not copy paste code many times. Thumb rule: please review your code after completion of use case. And look, you have written some code. If there are 2 times, 3 times, take the same time decision. Check out the code from the multiple places, write in a util class, write in a service layer, write in the common places, and the same class can use in the different places. And this is the way you are ensuring that in your code is maintainable. That means duplication of code, data causes many problems, and both code and data intend to be treated consistently. When duplicate, that means changes may not apply to all the copies. So hope it's clear. First point, as possible as we are as a developer, we have to avoid. And this good principle name given, dry principle. Do not repeat yourself. So that's the basic thumb rule as a Java software engineer we have to follow. Next rule. Sometime whenever you are writing some model classes, some POJO classes, some classes, and many times uh, we are making some classes that can be not follow the principle of encapsulation. So as possible, we have to write the data classes that are transfer from controller layer to service layer to DAO layer. That's object. Our object can transfer from one service call to another service call. So your object, if possible, to implement encapsulation, that is also one of the key criteria. Okay, so what encapsulation says? Let's think the basic. Encapsulation ensure your data consistency. Your object represents the real entity. If you are writing some model, some data classes that's have a publicly you open, anyone can access, anyone can set the value, anyone can change the value, and that times sometime in our applications data are stored that are not consistent as our use case, as our business entity. So what the thumb rule? Thumb rule is that whenever you are writing data classes, please ensure the field of all must be private and avoid setter method if possible. So what do you mean? How to write the encapsulation? That's a good example. So maybe I have a simple class, employee class, and here maybe example private. So don't say name like just string name example, for example, and that's integer age. So for development purpose, I have written one model. It's sufficient. This can work fine. You can create the object and everything. Employee object. Employee. Okay. And here you can say, hey, employee dot name equal to name Sam, and employee dot age equal to, you can give the age. Okay, and just implement twisting method so that, okay, and if I am going to in main method just printing object employee1, there is no problem, it's work fine. But here we are creating our data classes that are not follow the principles of encapsulation. Here say we have a class and they have a two fields, names and age, but these are not follow the what encapsulation. So what is the problem here? If you look, someone can create another employee, and change its employee 1 and employee 1. Here you can say employee 1 is this. So notice, as per reality, you notice any employee have age like 450. Now as a applications you are able to create the employee which age is 450 years. Really not make sense. So somehow you, why not you writing some classes that ensure that they are protective. You cannot write such classes that allow. So what the way? Simple way, whenever you are going to create model data classes, please ensure that first these fields are not directly accessible. Make sure this should be like a private. This should be like a private, so that anyone cannot access the value directly. So question, how we can create the object? Let's go with the constructor. Here say I am going to create constructor and I receive the value. So question is that, okay, you write the good way, so now I cannot create the object from this value. I cannot access the attributes. Okay, you cannot access the attributes, but how can pass? So let's say you can pass here name. So someone say, hey, I pass here Sam, and here I can pass age 45. Okay, no problem. Here I can pass like Smith. Here I can pass name Smith and age pass 450. So what the benefit or get? You are created like a two object, and now instead of passing value from this field, you field make a private that is not accessible. That's problem. But still now you have a control where you can say, hey, I cannot allow this, because my business logic say if anyone going to write value here, I can apply some kind of a exception, name length, age length, and anything whatever you want. Let's here say if my whatever the age I am receiving, if age greater than 18 and age less than or equal to 60, I am only allow. Else maybe I can throw exception. And maybe I can throw exception. Hey, age cannot be greater than something, right? Or with the default age. So whatever you think here, you can apply the condition. You can say, hey, maybe throw exception, new runtime exception, employee age, must be between 18 to 60. So here you are ensuring that you are able to allow your model should be created, and that's now let's test here. And in this case, at least we are not allowing to anyone create such model. Notice we are throwing exception. Hey, employee age must be between 18 to 16. Excuse me. So in this way, you are ensuring that okay, you cannot create. That means you have to go only like a 50 or something. In this way, your model is okay. So one thing, ensure that your model classes attribute must be private. And even good option, it should be make a final so that they enforce you can implement using the constructor initialization. So this is and constructor, you can write your business logic whatever you want, so that now your data is more safer than whatever you want. So this is the one thing, say, hey, field must be private and accessor must be advised. Sometimes someone say, hey, I can go write and set and get. That's another options. That question, hey, I written how I can provide. I want to only age or name. I don't want a complete name. Hey, I want to employ only like a something name field, not the age field. So how to get only specific field? So good option. You can give me the get name, a getter method. That's a good option. You can just generate. Hey, I can this employee object can get the name, can get the age. That's okay. I can say hey employee one dot get age or get name. Okay, you can do that's get age. In this way, you can say. Okay. And just run it. So these are the basic principle. You follow the encapsulation rule whenever you are writing your model classes or data classes, so that now anyone can create the employee object, anyone can create the employee object and can get the value, but they cannot set any value that's beyond my business logic. Here we can put my business logic. Excuse me. So this is the rule for the encapsulation and we have to follow them. And a good part, whenever if you're talking about the Java, latest version of Java, say, hey, instead of writing manually your class like why not use the record classes? That is a good enhancement. Java say, hey, you can record maybe department or maybe EMP in this way. So this is the better way to write your model classes. And here say, I want like a same thing, whatever validation you want here, string name and integer each. So this is the way where best way if you want to writing the data classes, that's avoid the setter getter method something, use this record classes and this validations you can place here as well as in this constructor. Excuse me. Sorry. Here you can place your constructor if you want. Okay, employee. And here you can place your age constructor. Okay. Here something compact constructor. Okay, this is the way you can write the age logics whatever you want. So please, if possible, use your record. That's all. And next point I am going to highlight here about whenever you're defining any interface, classes, package, and as possible, you have to ensure that your interface or your class should be for a specific purpose. Don't make any interface, any classes that's for the multi-purpose use. What the benefit you can get if we are writing our classes, our class, our interface that's have a multiple purpose, maybe purpose one some interface, purpose two interface, that's are not reusable and that's are required additional some testing, additional stuffs. And good option for the specific purpose, as small as interface could be, as small as class should be, login purpose, logout purpose, withdrawal purpose, saving purpose, calculate interest purpose. Please try to ensure that your interface as small as possible, your class as small as possible. That means they just serve a specific purpose. That means one for withdrawal, one for saving, one for save, one for create, one for delete. That's not an issue. But ensure that whenever you are defining any interface or any class, that for a specific purpose, so that those specific purpose can be reused in the different places as well as. So let's move to the next. Whenever you talk about class or interface, we have to also point some uh, thing we have to take in care. Whenever you are declaring any interface or any methods or any fields, so we have to ensure that accessibility, that means the variable, the class, the interface are the public, are the private, are the protected, are the default. By default thumb rule, always go with the private until that is really needed for a specific purpose to make a public. So here say declare any class, any interface, if that really needed for the different module, different methods, different microservice call, then make public. Else by default declare every field, every class, every method private, so that your application as secure as you want. So the always think whenever you writing public keyword for a class, for a method, for an interface or any field. But as a developer, whenever you are learning Java language, we follow habit. Just do default. Default is still look like public in the package. No, make it private, so that you are ensuring data integrity issue. And if possible, maybe maybe nested class or a nested method or even public on a constructor or anything you are declaring, please think about the accessibility what you are writing. Sometimes they will say, hey, I am declaring variable, I am not writing anything. What do you mean by anything? Default Java given as a public look like a public within a package, means within a folder your class, your variable work as a public. Even you're not writing, but it behave as a public within a package, within a folder. So please make a habit whenever you are writing code, declare private. And until your test case, until your business use case, until your particular requirement now, hey, I want to access this method, I want to access this interface, I want to access this class, let them public only with a specific region. Else, go always with a private. This is thumb rule we have to follow while designing your interface, designing your method, designing your fields, designing your classes, anything. That's good. So we have to thumb rule. In the case of accessibility, access modifier in a Java language, by default, Java language not enforcing you write a private. The default default accessibility modifier as a Java language set as a public within a folder where you are class writing. If you are class writing in a particular folder, generally Java say package, in a package by default it will become a public, means within all the classes, all the methods you are writing that can access. The learning purpose it's okay, you are not writing any access modifier, but are writing public, just avoid. And make a habit whenever writing code, any field, any method, any constructor, set it a private. And think this method can be reused, then make a public. Have a specific region, have a specific requirement, then make a public. This is a thumb rule. So that we, as a software developer, writing our software that's meeting to the secure guidelines or principle. Let's move to this. Next, very important things about the mutability and immutability. Both, I'm not say immutability is a very good or immutability is a very good. As a developer, we have to make a balance. And both, why Java language support both? Because sometime we need a mutability. Sometime I don't need a mutability. So if you say immutability is a very good option, so Java designer, why not think everything make as immutable? No, because while Java, no, you can object-oriented programming language plus functional style programming language. You can say kind of hybrid. Java as a language, they support both things. As now, responsibility of our Java developer, software developer, to decide what the context. Sometimes you need a mutable, let's do. Sometimes you don't want a mutability, don't do. So thumb rule, what I prefer, whenever you are, mutable is very good, very fine within your scope, within a maybe method scope as a local scope. Within the methods, any variables that are not accessed outside of this method, if you want to meet the mutability, you will do, no problem. Mutability is okay within the defined scope, but sheer mutability is a problem. These variables may be okay, another class, and this is the object which is the shared by this method and this method. And here you are going to mutate this segregator, or here from you are mutating. This is, as a developer, we have to avoid. Sheer mutability is the problem because they have impact, and even while writing code, our compiler is not catch. When customer going to test the use cases, some your use cases, some situation in a multi-threaded environment, sheer mutability play a bigger role, and we have to take care. So mutability is okay, but sheer mutability is a bad idea. Don't do. Whenever you are looking such code where any global objects that are passed to the across the multiple methods and each them are modifying, please avoid. So here I am saying prefer immutability, but not always. Depend. In this case, since shared object, my preference is as a secure coding guideline say, hey, please use immutability. Okay. Sometime here you do some mutation, and sometime I want to return this object that can be used by across the multiple method call. You have an option. Your mutable object can easily convert to the immutable. Sometime you can do. So let us example. I want to create the list. I can go basic way. Hey, I want to list of list of integer, list equal to new array list. This is the way. And here say list dot add. I add some number. List dot add. I add some number. Okay. This good. And maybe this list you can pass to the method 1, method 2. Okay. And here say that's s out. And here say here let's say I call 2 methods. Let's example I can hey static void process 1 method. Let's receive the list of integer. Your list. Okay. And another method, let's void and here another method. Okay, here another method, process 2. Okay, so here someone might be say, hey, I am going to adding the list dot add some extra number, maybe in the third, and this one say I am can be add some after doing some processing I can add my maybe extra number 55. Here say I want list should be contain this additional element. Here say I want process 2 method list 55. So in both cases notice this process method receives some list and he added some additional and a process. So here maybe process 1 and this is the process 2, and whenever I am going to here call print there, and here say I call process 1, I pass my list. Okay, I pass my list, and here maybe process 2 I pass here, and here I'm just placing my list again. I'm checking. If you run here, you notice our list is notice have 1 2 original data, but this 2 methods. Okay, I'm just let them. You can just write a not equal to. Here this case say you write the not equal to. In both cases is start of it. Okay. So I am saying hey, now again test them. Then what is the problem here? Say class or interface. Okay, multiple closing curly braces. Okay, so now okay. So objective here is that whenever you have any object and that's you are passing across the method, across the interface, and that you don't want that can be modified. Notice here process 1 received, they added 33, and notice they receive that again 35, but they don't want this should be 33 here, but process 2 receive because this have modified. So original list I want always be passed so that original process 1 can work on a original list and process 2 also work on a low. So here in this is the by default nature of string mutability. All do we have a multiple. If sometime you have mutable, you can convert to the immutable list. So even you can say hey, maybe unmodifiable list, collection dot unmodifiable list, multiple options you have. You can say hey, collections dot unmodifiable list, unmodifiable map, all the methods available you can use them. Okay, you can do even best option. Why not? I can say instead of this I can say hey, this is my immutable list. I can just use the list of factory method. We say hey, list of 23 and here list of 56. This is the original list I want. Here you can just don't do anything. Now by default this list become immutable, and someone try to test, you are getting some unexpected behavior because here list is by default. Notice here because this is immutable, you cannot modify them. Okay, so these are the some things, but here I want you can do. Now receive list and you want to maybe another list, you can use and do operation like here say hey, I want to maybe here say list of my numbers integer, here say my maybe here say new and list. Okay, so oh stop, I don't want to write new array list. Okay, and here say list, and here say now these are the modified, and here say add 33, and you do something whatever you want. Here say hey, list 1. Okay, something Let's check. Multiple way here you can do, but multiple options you have to do. So here we are ensuring that whenever we are passing any object that's a shareable, please use the immutability there. And sometime you want to modification notice here. Here they have only added 33 and do something. Here they added 55 and they added 55. That's here 55, right? So here local mutability is okay. Here local you can mutate, okay. Here local you can mutate, okay. But these are the list where you pass across the two methods, that is the share immutability. The share mutability avoid, use the immutable object here. So here the same points here I am trying to convey. Whenever you have an object, both you can use mutable and immutable. Local scope mutability is a fine and you do, but the object which are passed across the methods, across the function call, across the module, please prefer immutability. And good option, whenever you are writing some constant variable, possible use the constant variable, possible, and make sure whenever you are writing any field something that's as possible as final, so that at runtime a new variable, new value anyone cannot initialize. So prefer immutability in the case of shared mutability. So mutability and immutability both have a specific use. You cannot say this is the bad and this is very good. Always use immutability. You can use always immutability, but as a developer, you have to do lots of extra work. Why you are doing? Just define the scope. Your object is a local, within a you do mutability, no issue. But your object are used across the multiple method call, multiple function call, prefer use immutability. And this is the way you are writing application that go in the direction of secure code. So one more point I want to highlight here about try with resources. That means whenever we are accessing any file, whenever we are accessing to database call, any opening some critical objects, that's good. Generally we are using the file close or lock or something. So general thumb rule, you have to ensure that your object which acquire must be released, else we are getting the many applications memory leak problem. You have opened the file, after that such times you are not closing those files, you are opening the database connection, you are not releasing them. You are like acquiring the lock for a particular object, but you are not releasing the lock. So this situation, when your application running, many times we facing maybe out of memory leak problem, something. So Java have given inbuilt utility. Why we not use them? Please ensure any objects that you want to release, you want to close, declare inside the try with resources. Just try block and open your file, open your database connection, open something, so that by default our compilers are able to invoke the close methods. Sometimes developer do try catch and finally block their calling. That's a good option. You can do. But sometimes developer miss. They are not, the compiler is not enforcing, hey, you open the file, but you're not calling the close methods. So why we are giving scope for the bug or for the problem? If our language support, hey, don't worry, you open the file within try resources, don't take care about the closing, I'll do. So please try, use the try with the resources as possible as we can. And even good option, sometime your applications where you want something must be released, must be closed, and maybe we have to write own such implementation try with the resources. Like this is a very good example. Maybe you aware about the very basic principle execute around method pattern. What this method say? Let's explain you. So basic example. What here I'm trying to say. Hey, this is my codes. This is my code. I am written a line number 1 code, line number 2 code, line number 3. Okay, here I am doing some calculation, opening the file. Here I am doing some business processing. I am closing the file. That's okay. What happens while business processing? Some exception occur, some error you are throwing. Your control goes from here, and might be you are missing to the closing this. So whenever say something before and after, here you are opening a file, here you are closing, not closing due to some exception, your control goes from here and you leave the open connection, leave the open resources. So good options always implement your own pattern, and you have to ensure that this is my code. You have to write some custom due to the lambda expression that we have options. Hey, I'm going to perform my business logic, and before what happened and after my what happened, I am as a software developer ensuring that our framework ensuring that. Maybe here I am writing my try catch on my own self, and here I am writing the catch block and releasing my resources. Before here I am opening the files, and this code is taken care to the hey customer, any developer, you can call my method. Internally I am ensuring that calling your business logic, once business logic throw exception or not throw exception, both cases I am going to releasing resources. So in this way, if we are ensuring that any lock, any file, any database connection, any remote connections your application doing, that must be closed or released. And even best options, you as a framework you implement, so that if some developer just call the methods and miss to closing the resources, your application frameworks taken care. And for this simple, implement execute around method patterns or try with resources. So these are some basic uh, parameters. If we follow, that means our applications are going to follow or toward the meeting the criteria of secure code. So surely there are lots of points we have to discuss while writing secure code, but these are the starting points. Just let's do practice. One point: avoid writing duplicate code. As possible, you can write the common code, common logics, and use across your use cases. Avoid writing setter getter method. Use the inbuilt classes that enforce encapsulation principle. And whenever you are writing any interface, any class, any methods, your interface just for a specific purpose. Don't make interface for the multiple purpose, multiple use cases. One use case, one interface. One use case, one method. So that your class or interface as small as possible, they can meet specific only one purpose, only one business use case. And whenever you are declaring any variable, any class, any interface, please ensure that what the access modifier you are writing. Make practice always write private, and depend upon your use case, customer requirement, customer need, you change from private to the public, so that you are no ensuring that hey, these are really needed methods or variable that access outside of the my class. Don't let them default. And final points to discuss about the locks, file, database connections. Whenever your application calling any remote call, any database call, opening file, opening configurations. After that, your application must ensure that you are releasing them, you are closing them. Might be your framework support or your library Java compiler support, or you can write your own code. Ensure that you are not giving any scope of memory release problem, memory leak problem, unused connection problem. Lots of times these are hurdle while debugging the applications. These are the basic points. If we follow these points, you are the right direction to writing applications Java code that meet the Java secure coding guidelines. Thank you.